What up, people? It's your boy, Marv, and this is The Nerds in the Hood. Folks, I saw a good movie today, folks. I just cut right to the chase. I saw a good movie today, and I want to talk about it. If you already came to here and checked out the link, you already saw the pitch, you already know what movie I'm talking about. So I didn't want to waste too much time, but you know I got to do my sports stuff real quick. I know it's not a sports show, but I'm a New Yorker, and New York sports is where it's at right now. You feel me? We're having a good so-so October. Giants and the Jets ain't doing anything. Liberty blew a huge opportunity to set the tone with the game one win when they lost. And that's in the championship right now. And the Yankees and the Mets just put themselves one step closer to a championship contention by booking a ticket to the League Championship Series with the National League and American League. Yankees just won last night, so that's my team. I'm gonna wear their hat. Now, there's another hat I could be wearing, but that one don't fit my head. Pause. So, at the end of the day, what we are talking about, though, which is why this hat is here, which is why this shirt is being worn right now, is the fact that I just literally am like hours removed from coming back to watching the latest and possibly last My Hero anime film, My Hero Academia anime film. And it was called You're Next. Now, you're going to see some of these pictures and go, hey, why it look like he bootlegged the film? I did not bootleg the film. However, I was so hype about what I was doing, and I was so prepared to review this film that I took pictures while I was in the theater, while I was watching the movie. And, you know, most movie theaters, they don't care because you're not really pirating the film. You're just taking pictures. So I wasn't doing nothing illegal. However, I will say it was empty. So all the people that was sitting there was focused on the film. Nobody was looking over at me. I wasn't disturbing nobody. So we all good over here. You know what I mean? Anyway, this film just came out. At the time of me recording, today, the day I'm recording, is the same day it premiered in U.S. theaters. And like I said, it is possibly the last My Hero Academia film in the story of My Hero Academia, because we already know that the manga, which is the comic book version of the story, has ended this past August. And we just got word that the anime is going to have its 8th season, which will be its final season sometime next year in 2025. So it goes without saying that My Hero Academia at this point is pretty much done. So if they do one more movie to coincide with the final season, then that's on them. But for now, this is where we at. That's why I got this Bakugo hat. I got it a while back, so it's not like I just ran to a store and buy it. That's why I said don't fit me, because then I would have been returning it instead of trying to do a movie review. Anyway, I don't want to be yapping. I already got comments that I'll be yapping. So I'm going to try to keep it simple and sweet, but I did take notes. So basically, this film is about a man named Valdo Galino, and he is the leader of one of the biggest crime organizations in Europe. And he takes his talents over to Asia and Japan. And because he was so inspired by the hero All Might, then he decided to take over, because he was confused when All Might had his last fight with his arch nemesis. One for all for one. You know which one. They're always going to confuse you. But anyway, when he had his last fight, he pointed to the camera and said, "You're next." And homie got super hyped and super confused and thought that was going to be him, to the point where he made himself look like All Might. Made himself look like All Might. And Deku knew off the rip, that's not you. Bakugo knew off the rip, that's not you. And Shoto knew off the rip, that's not you. Everybody else was like, oh no. No, it was not him. So it was a lot of craziness. Basically, what happened was this guy, Mr. Galino, he turned himself into what he called Dark Might. And with Dark Might, he kidnapped a girl named Anna Severino, right? And Yep, it's all Italian names. That's right. They was fighting some Italian. This was low key a mafia film on the low. This was a mafia film in an anime. They just disguised it and slipped it right in there. So anyway, Miss Anna, she had a interesting quirk which allowed people to basically do what she wanted and give them also what they desired if necessary. So Galeno had an interesting power, which was alchemy, which made him an alchemist at the same time. So this is why I said this might be the last My Hero film, because they was just throwing everything to the wind. They was just swinging for the fences and seeing what went over that fence. So this guy had the power of alchemy, basically. Like, he was flipping coins on the ground and turning it into things he wanted it to. He had a giant ship. He transported everybody to another world inside the ship, like his own utopia. And he was just trying to see who can mesh well with Anna and listen to her so he can make them a part of his army and take over the world and say that he is the next savior of peace, because they're all going to basically listen to him. And basically this whole squad of Class 1A, that was basically who it was. It was Class 1A. All were at the same time. They were trying to stop somebody else, but got caught in the whole moment of this man coming in and was in his world. And basically their job was to stop him because they're heroes. That's what they do. So basically, long story short, that was the movie. I don't want to spoil too much. I just want to let you know that was the basic setup of the film. You're going to see cameos from a lot of different people in My Hero Academia, past and present. For example, you already know you're going to see Endeavor. You already know you're going to see Hawks. You already know you're going to see All Might, since this is a movie about a guy who really is obsessed with All Might. And they will explain certain things. But I will say, there was another guy in the film named Giulio Gandino, who was the butler, the servant to Miss Anna. This dude was a badass. I just got to say that. This dude was a badass. My man's was pulling up. My son was Bucky Barnes. He had a power known as, I wrote it down, neutralization. So his quirk allowed basically people's powers to be tempered and like lowered and neutralized, so that it was similar to Eraser's quirk, in the sense that like he can stop it from happening. So what happened was the Galeno family knew that this man had this power and cut off his arm. So what did he do? He went and got replaced with an android arm that had a whole gun in it. So he had the burner on deck at all times. And somehow they ripped off his leg too, which was interesting. I didn't know his leg had the power because he could only use his right hand for the power. But anyway, his whole leg was a rocket booster, which you'll see later and how he utilizes it. And his eye. Like, these dudes was not playing. This was some real mafia stuff. My man's eye was an android eye. So even if he got knocked out, the eye was still working and notifying him of things when he was unconscious, which was crazy. So this man was badass to me. But as always, the real badass is our boy Bakugo, who to me was the MVP of the film. Nothing in this film spelled growth until you saw him and until you saw my boy Tokoyami, right? Yep, Tokoyami. When you saw these two, that was growth. You're going to see it in the film. It was growth. Because usually, right, when you see these type of anime films, the last final fights is usually who? The main character, the right-hand man of the main character, or like the secondary character in that sense, and probably the third. So like the top three big dogs in the anime. And in this film, usually that belongs to Bakugo, Shoto, and Deku, right? So this time Tokoyami, excuse me. That was my blackness coming out. Tokoyami was a part of that final group going to face the final boss. He didn't really face the final boss, but he was in charge of taking care of like some of the henchmen. But to see him go with that crew and the special guests, that's what I always like to call them films, because anime films always has a one-time character that helps the main character because he or she needs help at the same time. He was with them. Nobody else was with them. He was with them. So it was pretty fire. It was pretty fire to see that. Also, they had an anime opening for this movie at the beginning, and that anime opening was super fire too. Wasn't super long. It was TV size, just like you wanted it to be, but it was dope. It was dope. It was I couldn't say it was one of my favorites in terms of a musical type opening, because I've seen it before on like Pokemon when they would just show Ash battling somebody, but you hear the music in the background. But this one was something you would have saw on TV. So that's why I said they went like legit, as we say, when you see it, like 0 to 60, 0 to 100. They was not playing games with this movie. They said, we're going to make sure that if you see this movie, you're going to remember the name My Hero Academia. You feel me? What else? Because I'm just still coming down from the hypeness that I was getting from watching this movie. You know what I mean? Because it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I'm not gonna hold you. So everybody had, his whole squad, the Galeno family, had really cool quirks. You didn't really hear all their names, but there was one guy who had the power to also cancel out quirks, but he had to do it from a distance, not like a racer. There was a lady who did similar to that one demon from Demon Slayer that allowed you to see like your dreams and what you really wanted in life and stuff, all in your dreams. So she was playing a facade in your mind. There was another little dude who had the power of telekinesis. And then he had a bigger henchman who had the power of teleportation. This is what I'm saying. This movie was not playing games, y'all. I'm keeping it a buck. If there was one thing I could spoil, because it wasn't a major scene, it was a scene that I took notice and started laughing. So this is something I don't normally see in a lot of anime. And for the first time, or maybe not for the first time, but a rare occasion, I got to see it. So what happened was there was a scene where your man's was basically, Deku was talking with Giulio, right? And they was like both standing there and they were talking, and he was trying to get more about what this man was trying to get Miss Anna for, like what he was doing, because they came in all confused off the rip. So he was trying to wonder like, yo, what is it that you want from this woman? Like, what are we doing? Where are we at here? What's going on? And he was like, I heard you. Like, I got you. Like, I'll tell you what's up. And he tells him the whole origin story and everything. And while he's telling him the origin story, there was a bunch of people who were hypnotized by one of the villains. And now that villain was gone. So the hypnosis wore off, right? Everybody's coming to like, damn, what happened, bro? And there's one dude in between Deku and Giulio. And he's like, word? Like, he's just sitting there like, I don't know what's going on, but y'all talking wild deep right now. It's getting real deep over here. Like, I don't understand. So, and he had a power too because he could stretch his arms. It was crazy. So it made me laugh because in anime, you don't really see the extras react too much to what's going on with the characters. They kind of only get shocked when things happen. And this guy was like, if I'm gonna sit in between y'all, I might as well just be nosy, because that's where y'all got me at right now. I'm just sitting here like, yo, so what's really good? I don't understand. But with all that being said, another cool thing was that, like I said, it's the growth. Bakugo was out here giving orders, and at the same time, Cass was listening without really getting mad at him. And he had a squad. See, I just put my phone down because of the hypeness of what I saw. My man's, all three of them was split up into squads that was ran by a different person. Shoto ran the squad, Deku ran the squad, and Bakugo ran the squad. Deku and Shoto's squads was all right. Bakugo's squad was full of like just random OGs, baby. It was my man Hardening. It was Tokoyami. It was Sugar Man. It was Acid Girl. And I think it was one more person I'm not even forgetting. But they was kicking butt. They was pulling up to everywhere like, so who want to smoke? Like, everybody else's goals was like, let's do stealth missions, let's do this. His goal was like, nah, we coming in here, we throwing hands. Our hands are working. We not playing with nobody. We are heroes, and we don't got time for your demands. They did not negotiate with terrorists. They was coming in there knocking heads off. I had to give it to my man Bakugo. Kid Dynamite came up big, and I couldn't believe it, man. Is there any other notes I put? I think that was really it. Everything else about this movie was fire. Oh, excuse me, not Kid Dynamite. Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite. Yes, that is a long title for a name, but that is his name. And we must put respect on that name. You know what I mean? But all in all, this to me was a really good film. And I'm trying to think about the names of their last three films. But I know Heroes Rising, Two Heroes, like, I know the last one was good. I think the last one was Two Heroes. Because I know there was one that was like just like more of like a comp kind of flashback film. And I ain't really like that one. So That one was like, to me, not that good. But they had 4 films. This is their 4th film, people. And this one might have been one of the best ones they've made. Like, they keep getting better. So, yeah, let me go in order. Yeah, Two Heroes was actually the first one. So I'm bugging. Two Heroes was not that good to me. I didn't really like that one. Two Heroes was not that good. Heroes Rising was okay. It was a little better. But because they ended it with the way the manga was supposed to go, I ain't like that. So World Heroes Mission and Your Next are their 2 best movies. And Your Next actually might be a little better than World Heroes Mission, even though I think World Heroes Mission had better animation. But this was Wit Studio. So Wit Studio is known for really good animation. You've seen it before. But all in all, what I liked about the movie was that anime movies try to be quick. And this one was quick in terms of like getting to the point, but also not confusing us in the long run. They took time to explain the motives of certain characters, to explain what was going on, to get to the plot twist, whatever they need to get to. But they made sure that this is a movie where people throw hands. And they made sure that hands was thrown when it needed to be thrown. But at the same time, they didn't confuse you in the long run where you still have... Like, I walked out of here with no real, like, questions. I didn't walk out of here like, oh, I have so many questions. I don't understand why he did this or that. Nah, I walked out like, nah, I get it. They did what they had to do. Things was done. You know what I mean? Like, it was a good film. And I implore anybody who's a fan of My Hero Academia, go see this film. If you want to wait till it hits Crunchyroll or Netflix or something, or Stars usually be having My Hero first. Go see it. Wait for it to pull up. But I think you should go see this movie. In this year, with a lot of anime films came out and we didn't really know about it, this one was really heavily known because it's one of the bigger films, like how Demon Slayer films came out, even though lately they've been doing comp films, but more like oh, there's a fly. More like Dragon Ball Z or Naruto or One Piece. Like it's up there with those type of anime films, and they only made 4. So we're gonna quickly go to the rating system for our movies, which is basically valid, which means it's good or near perfect. It's alright, which means it's alright. It's cool, it's mid. Or nah, this ain't it, which means it just wasn't hitting today. This one, I gotta give it props. It was actually valid. It was valid. I was sitting there the whole time. There was a lot of gutted things that was happening. I seen my man Julio took the burner out on Dark Mike a few times. He unloaded the clip. Like, things was happening. Like I said, I don't want to spoil it too much for you because that'll take away from the joy you're going to have. And the joy that I had, I want you to have. But I do want to say that this movie was definitely worth going to see because it was also a part of the Movie Pass movement. Oh, yeah, I thought I forgot. No. I did not forget. The Movie Pass movement, where I go and get my AMC gift card. Well, no, my Stubs card, excuse me. AMC Stubs premieres. Use it to see my 3 movies a week. And this was one of my movies, baby. We in here. So anyway, enjoyed this film. It's a must watch. My Hero is actually one of my favorite animes. So I really did like it. And it's a shame that it's going to go out. But all good stories eventually come to an end. Even One Piece at some point got to end, right? I hope it doesn't. But be that as it may, My Hero, this was, I think, their swan song in the form of a movie. This was their last dance, and I enjoyed it. So, once again, go see that film. Check it out. I'm going to keep it there. I'm going to keep it real brief. Shout out to everybody that be writing in the comments. That's how I started by saying I'll be yapping. Shout out to everybody that's watching right now. And shout out to everybody that's following us on all social media. I'll have that link tree in the description so you can check it out. But until next time, we're going to catch you later on another edition of Nerds in the Hood. We'll be talking that nerd talk for the streets. This is your boy Marv, and I'm signing off. Plus Ultra. Peace.